And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And you weren't ready.
I was not at all. Oh, go ahead.
And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is No Rhyme or
Review. So I'm excited about this one. We got a excellent single to review.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and and this single is called Autoboto.
Autoboto by who?
By Lupe Fiasco.
I don't know if you said his name right.
You mean Lupe?
No.
Loop?
It's more like the GOAT.
Oh.
The GOAT.
Okay, so by Lupe Fiasco, a.k.a. The GOAT. Bah. Boy, you know that.
Not
Nah. More like that. That is more goat-like. Yes. So so the GOAT, we can turn those up. We can crank those up. I adjusted the levels.
we're good.
Okay. So cranking bad boys up. There we go. Thank you.
No problemo.
Production mode in the background. All right. So yeah. So Lupe the GOAT has released Autoboto. It's the first single from his upcoming album. Is it Drill Music
in Zion?
Drill Music in Zion. And it's due to be out on my brother's birthday, June 24th.
Shout out Prophet.
2022. And so we wanted to talk about this project and see how y'all feels about it. And there's a few things that we're going to discuss when thinking about this. We're going to discuss first impressions,
Hey.
the production,
Oh yeah.
the lyrics,
Of course.
and the technique.
Check my technique.
Yeah, so we want to be able to like talk about all of those things in this episode of the podcast. If you want to enjoy our like shorter, funnier video of this, then you can join our new YouTube channel. Just search for No Rhyme or Reason on YouTube. We'll be the only two black faces that you find when you search that up.
It's a chunky TJ and regular me.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this, and we're gonna talk about first the first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna go first since I've been talking a lot.
Of course.
Cool.
And I'm gonna be concise today, people.
Concisius Joe.
My first impressions were, oh no, he's in a bag of
Chips.
metaphors.
Oh,
And bag of metaphors.
you pleasantly surprised me there.
Bag of metaphors.
I was like, why not chips? But I'm fine that it's not chips now.
And I'm just trying to find, like, is there a concept or a through line for the album, which most of his are. He's been saying that this is going to be his Illmatic. So with a single like this, Lupe is Lupeing, and he purposely, this is the first time I've ever seen him.
Can you define Lupeing?
Lupeing? I can.
Okay.
Lupeing is basically anytime you've ever been like, just make it simple. And I'm like, no, that's Lupe.
Okay, so being the the dumb it down Lupe.
Yes,
Got it.
basically. Or mural Lupe is what most people would say now. Just because that for a lot of people is the pinnacle of Lupe is mural.
Yeah.
So first impressions were with him doing this lyric video, he is really trying to do something. Also, he's going to be teaching rap at MIT.
Yeah.
And to me, I think he finna do a lot in terms of saying like, I'm that dude.
Yeah, and Lupe already has a consortium of folks that he works with, and with other lyricists that he's gathered together. I can't remember what the group is called, but they get together, they write, and they basically sharpen each other's swords by being in this group together. So that's some of the foundation for his educational work.
You know, a group I still want, even though I think he's crazy.
The
CRS.
Child Rebel Soldier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Lupe Fiasco, Pharrell, and
Yeah.
Kanye.
That single, which I'm gonna go back and listen to at some point.
So first impressions.
Great.
That's it.
As concise as possible. Like, great. It was great. I want to get the song. It gave me the cool feel. Oh, as I immediately go into explaining more, 'cause that's me. But great. If you ask a question, I'll explain more. But great.
I appreciate that. Would you've turned what would usually be like 15 sentences and a thesis to one word. And that is definitely the definition of concise.
Yep.
But
I'm a bit of I can't help. I am a professor
concise.
when it comes to Lupe.
So concise, in my opinion, is like 5 sentences
Ooh.
versus 15.
Because see, normally
It's
I'm
condensed.
doing 5 sentences. They're just run-ons.
So it's like blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah
But,
and blah 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 but
comma.
blah blah blah.
Throw a comma. Throw a comma. That has no business being here.
That's gonna be a song in the video, guaranteed.
But I think this gives the cool vibes was my first impression. And what I mean by that is just, well, basically, like you said earlier, it just gives dumb it down vibes, which means he's coming to rap. He ain't coming to play around with nobody.
Yeah. So my first impression is I feel like we got a taste of this when Lupe released his last kind of project with Soundtrack. So the Lupe Fiasco and Soundtrack
Tape.
collaboration called Tape Tape. I really enjoyed that, kind of 3 song EP. It was great. And I bumped that riding down our Little Rock streets. And that was fun for me on a visit back home.
I enjoyed Tape Tape. I didn't listen to it as much because I be stuck on Tesso on You. Because Tesso on You to me is like the pinnacle of this is a Lupe album that Lupe was, as I continuously keep saying, Lupe.
At least we defined it. So yeah, my first impressions is that it feels like Tape Tape, and I enjoyed that energy on Tape Tape. It felt freeing. It felt loose. It felt like Lupe could be himself 100%. And being out of his contract, I believe, makes me feel as if he's ready to be 100% himself. So those 2 songs, Oh Yes and Apologetic, hands down 2 of my favorite Lupe songs.
I also think this is like his second or third foray outside of a label at this point. because Dragus Waves was also outside of the label.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Tetsuo on Use was the last label thing, but also proved he can get in the bag if you get out of his way. If I remember correctly. But again, my history sometimes goes off. Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about the lyric video itself? Because I think he's doing something with that.
I think the lyric video, you missed a crucial opportunity to play a sound effect. But I think wait a minute, you can't do it now.
I don't know what I missed. What did I miss? What did I miss?
When I was just stuck and it was just like. Yeah, so it was just like that lyric video basically just helps me break down his lyrics, and that's what it is, right? It's for the lay person that doesn't really care about that. So next, production,
soundtrack. It's soundtrack. Like, I don't think he does not miss with soundtrack. He just doesn't.
Mm-hmm. And this album is supposed to be him and soundtrack exclusively, right?
I believe so.
Okay, that's my belief as well.
Because he said one of his tweets was, soundtrack is a sword maker. I'm just a samurai.
Okay, so this one's produced by Soundtrack, a long time collaborated with Lupe Fiasco, and
responsible for Superstar.
What do you think about the production?
He's responsible for Superstar, so I'm excited for any production that Soundtrack does. And he's like, Soundtrack was popping, baby. Did Soundtrack do SLR?
I don't know.
Anyway, all Soundtrack production with Lupe is exceptional. I've always loved the combination of those two. Tape was another example of that, because he just raps. Like, whenever Lupe gets to just fully focus on rapping, it's not like, okay, I need this producer for this or this producer for that. Not that he's ever just reached out to a whole lot of producers. He's kept his producer circle fairly tight. Mm-hmm. But I'm really excited for the production, because I think Soundtrack lends himself very well to Lupe's style.
Okay. The way I think about it is, I feel as if his production, Soundtrack specifically, yes, leaves a lot of room, but it leaves a lot of room because it is minimalistic. It doesn't require a lot of layering of instruments. He puts a core melody down and maybe adds a little bit for a hook or a bridge, and then puts some bouncy drums to it. His drums always have a lot of groove and a lot of movement to them, and so I'm pretty impressed by the production.
But he has a very good range, because if you go from Autoboto to Superstar is bright, vibrant, has a lot of layers to it to me.
Yeah.
And I think that versatility lends itself very well to Lupe in and of itself.
Okay, so we talked about first impressions. We talked about the lyrics. I think we talked about the production. Mm-hmm. It's time to go ahead and go to the lyrics. And I'm going to start with the chorus. Mm-hmm. And I have genius.com pulled up.
Our favorite place for looking at lyrics.
Pulled up. And according to genius.com, I feel like I'm a Porsche, I'm a Carrera, yeah. So
you're not done booting.
So that goes back to something that we mentioned on our video that's upcoming about our Lupe Fiasco tier list with the cool, and you brought it up that Lupe has multiple different personalities, and this personality is Carrera Lou.
Yep.
He loves Porsches, and so therefore he is exhibiting Carrera Lou at this moment. It's the flashier version of himself. It's the I don't really give a fuck type of energy.
It's Carrera Era from the FNF crew.
Right. So, any other thoughts about that lyric?
No, because I think it just well, if you think about him and his Porsche love, but you also think about just how he's setting up everything. I feel like the chorus in and of itself has, I mean, probably not like a deeper meaning, but there's a following through point, and I haven't quite dissected that yet.
Yeah. So when I think about it, I'm trying to look for maybe lyrics that would I'm trying to look for lyrics that feel as if we may not understand it. And I'm curious, and I'm going to send you this here in a second. If you can find any lyrics that stood out to you that you really wanted to break down a little bit more.
You're right on them right now. You literally have them selected.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So hold on. So these are the ones that are selected. So from the first verse, one deep meditate, one street separate, hide to the crypts, goodbye to the bloods. But it was the souls, the lords, and the GDs segregated by the streets in the shy where I was. So, what did you feel about that?
So he's very particular about how he does street references. Lupe has always been calculated in that regard because if you don't like know Lupe, you would not know he's pretty much kind of like a street nerd.
Yeah.
You know, in the fact that he runs or is very connected to the streets. In terms of but how he carries himself, you might get a different perception. And I remember when the kick push people were coming after him, there was a whole point in time where it was like, you should probably leave that boy alone in terms of like where you're trying to take this. And I mean, everything got cleared up, obviously, but those lines, I think that he's saying something a lot deeper. And it could just be about his past in general, but I think that there was something a little bit more there.
What do you mean by that?
So in the cool or in this verse, he's setting up thug life in general to me. And I feel like he's somewhat maybe breaking down drill music. In terms of like how automatic the things are. Lupe, in the same kind of Kendrick aspect, has always talked about the duality of the streets and everything else, like food and liquor. The Cool was an example of that. You can go to Food and Liquor too. You can go to Lasers. Love always shines every time. Remember to smile. And then if you look at each of the different topics, he shows how these things kind of exist. And the fact that he didn't agree with a lot of stuff that Obama was doing. In the fact that he talks about whether it's, overcoming suicide, he'll talk about the streets, he'll talk about all these different things, and how they coexist, how they have a relationship together. So I feel like the fact that it's called Drill Music in Zion, and this being the first release, that he's speaking in a certain way. And a lot of time it's not like to condemn the streets, but it is to show what these things kind of are.
It's a glimpse into the life.
Yes.
It's a spotlight, but not like glorifying what it is. So when I think about this, what we haven't done is actually like played the track. So maybe we can play the track before we get to the last part when we talk about technique.
Yeah.
So when I look at the lyrics, two sort of sections really stood out to me, and they were important to me. One of them has some annotations right now, but the other one doesn't. So the first one was like, got wise to the nudge, why buy a tub when they buy you a flood? Yeah. Better buy you a sub, how you gonna survive in the club? You gonna kayak it, cause when I rise up above and the waves come and push and the title's a shove. So it feels like he is aware of the gang culture, right? He knows how it can like push and pull. And if you step into it, there's a chance that you're not ready for it because you came in unprepared with the wrong vessel, right? Like that's what it feels like to me.
And I think, well, to further even go deeper than that, you can also think about it with him as a whole nother talking about his flow, which will probably end up being in the annotations. I guarantee it, like that other annotation. I think it's a lighter representation, but I like the why buy you a tub when the bayou will flood?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like you don't have the right vessel for whatever
Right.
flow is coming in. You know what I mean?
And it makes me think of Dumb It Down again, where he's like, until I make it drain, until I feel like flowing and filling it up again.
Right.
And he was talking about flow again in terms of the water. And the imagery setup was, it made me think Katrina, it made me think Miami and other places that are basically sinking already.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you set yourself in a place when you know that these areas will flood? So, like, to further emphasize your point, it could be connecting to why would you get into street life in general when it's just gonna do this to you?
Right. It's gonna chew you up, spit you out. And the other phrase was like, nigga said headshots, nigga, like a helmet with the GoPro, but I mean go 13 genius calls the verse mean, remember when we earthlings. So he's basically saying like, I'm gonna slow this down, I'm gonna break down what I just said to you. Basically, like you can get your cap peeled off in a very easy way. They didn't understand what I meant by that, right? And so now I'm going to dumb it down within this same phrase. So they can say, how can you put that in slow-mo, right? How can you rephrase that? Hope so. Headshots, brains in a pan. That's a no-no, right? So like that was one of my favorite couplets because it was just like, oh, you like don't go here because you'll end up with your head off. And I may have said it in a complicated way, but here it is another way for you to understand it.
And then, like, so the last little part that I think really was hitting me. Now I don't even know who wrote those. Maybe my ghost knows. Boo. But we both cold. Now they used to write all my ghost flows. Wrote each other solos. Boo. Now nigga say he want co-pros, money from the show, and rights to the logo. Do you want a lawyer? No ho. I represent myself in court.
Right.
And he has this thing where, and again, it reminds me of Dumb It Down, because in Dumb It Down, I remember him talking about, supply other quotes to the notes to the living. And that was like a ghost writing bar. So I'm kind of wondering what he meant by that. I don't know if he was.
Well, it sounds like because he used to write for folks, and he would want credit for it. Like people, like he used to sweat the credit, like show clothes is what he's saying in the line previous to that. And so he used to sweat getting credit, but now on the other side of things, people want credit for things that they didn't actually even do.
Good point.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
and people want more revenue for things that they didn't do. So I don't know. Overall, I enjoyed all of these lyrics and kind of breaking them down.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're in a space where you're ready to play it?
You give me 3 seconds and I will be. And a 1. Oh, wow. Nope, not that.
Whoa.
We don't play no ads right here.
We always believe the
I just told you. We don't play no ads right here.
Yeah, man, you already know it.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing short.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Feel me?
Yeah.
Track, what up?
Yeah.
Where the drops.
I defend myself in court.
Good luck
This
with
is
that,
sport.
bruh.
I get signals from the source. I can twist and I contort. I just feel like I'm a Porsche. I'm Carrera.
I'm focused, man.
Error.
I wish my.
I defend myself in court. This is sport. I get signals from the source. I can twist and it contorts. I just feel like I'm a Porsche. I'm Carrera. Lies to the judge, rain in the sky and the sea might rise with slice to the mud, slice to the flies from all kinds of demise, reporting live from the hive and all sides of the sludge. One deep, meditate, one street, separate, high to the Crips, goodbye to the Bloods. But it was the souls, the lords and GDs, segregated by the street and the shy where I was, got wise to the nudge. Why buy a tub when to buy you a flood? Better buy you a sub. How you gonna survive in the club? You gonna kayak it cuz when it rise up above and the waves come in pushing the titles a shove? What's the infrared dot to a whole .gov? Look right in the eyes of a thug, look dumb street shit don't apply to the plug. In court. This is sport. I get signals from the source. I can twist and I contort. I just feel like I'm a Porsche. I'm Carrera. I defend myself in court. This is sport. I get signals from the source. I can twist and
What
it
is that?
contorts. I just feel like I'm a Porsche. I'm Carrera.
It's my Fresh Prince hair roll.
I ain't wanna shots, headshots, cut off all my dreadlocks. I ain't want a head wash no more. What you mean headshot? Nigga said headshots. Nigga like a helmet with a GoPro, but I mean go 13. Genius cause the verse mean. Remember we earthlings. Nigga, can you put that in slow mo? Hope so. Headshots, brains in a pan. So that's a no. Might not get it, but it's dope though. Matter of fact, local. Surrounded by gang members and a lot of popo. That's real, but it might sound like a joke though. Never know. Keep both sides in the chokehold. I just wanted credit, used to sweat it like show clothes. Now I don't even know who wrote those. Maybe my ghost knows. But we both cold. I used to write on my ghost flows. Wrote each other solos. Now the nigga say he want co-pros. Money from the shows and rights to the logo. Do you want a lawyer? No, ho. I defend myself in court. This is sport. I get signals from the source. I can twist and I contort. I just
Say
feel
that bad
like
boy
I'm
out.
a Porsche. I'm Carrera.
Okay. So let's talk technique. How'd you feel about the flow? How it's executed?
Technique was flawless. I love Lupe's use of alliteration. In the way that he'll like why buy you a tub when the buy you a flood, and it's such a nice like. I'm losing myself in finding the words, but
Alliteration?
yes,
The B sound?
yeah,
Because alliteration is a repetitive.
or not
of the
alliteration.
same sounds.
Yes, thank you. Wait, what?
Alliteration is like a repetitive sound, like B, but.
Yeah, so I did mean. So I love the alliteration of the way he'll attack things and kind of expand. I could have meant this, but I actually mean this, but it could have mean this. And he did that a lot on Mural when he was like, he just goes to different explanations, and it's like he ends up like hi, not saying hi, like, or saying hey for horses or whatever. I can't remember like the exact lines on top of my head.
I think you mean something like,
so not alliteration.
it is kind of it is alliteration in a sense, because by
Yeah.
by yes.
Yeah, because the buy you a flood, the buy you, you should buy a sub, and he's used that explanation, or not explanation, but line before. He was like, "You're gonna need you a sub, and not one from Jared."
Mm-hmm.
You think it's all Ed and everything's Irie, so that like it brings me back to the coolest as well. There are a lot of callbacks, I would say, in this song, because it's like dumb it down, the coolest, even Go Gadget flow in a certain way, and he's not like twisting completely, but he's using those syllables in a way that just everything slots together in a way that you should like be able to rap. Once you start rapping along with the song, you're just having fun.
Right, and it's like an intricate puzzle almost. The way I feel about it is, I like the pacing of this. I like, it feels like a sports car, right? Like it has that cadence and that energy that just kind of like moves along.
I'm focused, man.
Like a really high end vehicle that revs up from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes easily from 0 to $120.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Concise. that's the wrong button.
I'm trying to think of a comeback.
It's more like the yellow one. Thank you.
I hate you.
Done cooking. But yeah, what are there some final thoughts? Any
on the technique?
No, just in general. Like, how do you feel about that? This record.
I'm excited for the album.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's Lupe, so I'm always gonna be excited about the album.
Yeah, and I feel like on this channel right now it's the Lupe channel.
It is definitely like we look like a Lupe channel. We've done other stuff
based off of the type of content that we actually have. Like, it's right now it's the Lupe channel, but it'll diversify. Trust me.
Like, y'all were, if he didn't decide to release this single, it was gonna be a gamer day.
Yeah,
because it's coming back.
Yeah, I'm excited about that to play some games. But yeah, I feel like this is a record I would buy just off of the single release. I would buy a CD.
That is an excellent example. I love that because we were born in the 1900s. And there was a time where you did not get to hear the rest of an album. You only got to hear the singles. You couldn't preview. Well, you could preview songs, but you had to go to a store, take the CD, and they would be like 30 seconds, like if that. And it would be like 30 seconds of like an intro. You might not even get the verses if that's not what they decided to do.
Right.
But I like that energy of the single being that dope that with no looking, I'm just getting the album.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that's it. Can you close us out?
I mean, I guess. We appreciate you guys for joining us on this
we appreciate you listening to our no rhyme or
review
of Lupe Fiasco's Autoboto. And we will catch you on the next one. A 1 and a 2.
Peace.